Ololade mi Ashake.
Unaka sungala jano de waste time, ona. Me I won't fire bazooka, ona. Mr. Money no de waste time. Mr. Money want to ease your mind. Say baby don't find no day to shine, unaka. Show why me. Mr. Money no de waste time. Mr. Money want to ease your mind. Hello, you carry back a lot of filo. I'ma check a phone no go dey ghost you. Let me know what them kilo. Kumatingaza, Shinasa ino falapa. Agata from Osapa from Ibulala, Nishelo Japa. Omo ajebota libi migapa. I don't like the nonsense we are go bota. Nishelo Japa. Omo ajebota libi migapa. I don't like the nonsense we are go bota. Sunga la ja sunga la ja sunga ulu sunga la ja sunga ulu sunga Mr. Money with the vibe right now. Mr. Money with the vibe right now. Mr. Money with the vibe right now. Mr. Money with the vibe right now.
Tell me what you see when you look at me. Sungbalaja go my body. My problem is that too sabi. Pop monthly for the pool party. I got out ya dark bada. So you dey wine mini. You know see Uber ya bakada. Shop banker you go shop gata.
All right, guys. 6:03. I can tell you why are you talking now. Come on. Cesar Oshoala as well as Victor Osimhen became the African best. Ademola Lookman showed Real Madrid shaggy yesterday. Unfortunately, it was on the losing side just as Atlanta eventually lost 3 goals to the welcome to Sport Cruise on 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Yes, my name is Banjari Tᴏᴜᴛ, otherwise known as Agba Tommy. And yes, guys, trust me, the guys are very much in the studio this evening.
I'm sorry, hold on. I heard Adesegun Oluwasegun. I've never heard that from you. I'm always hearing Banjo Oluwatomi. What
are you saying? Guy, all right, guys, welcome back to the show. Just forget about the shenanigans of Akitayo on the show. Okwemi, good evening to you. Yeah, welcome to the show.
For 12:15, they wait for Sport Jams. This one is my show. On my belt. Big day, no doubt about that. Some amazing game of football yesterday.
Yeah.
Europe's elite football club competition returned yesterday. We saw some good goals as well. Bayern Munich just shows how and why they are one of the favorites going into this competition. And yet
they used one to qualify.
For the countless times, Mohamed Salah still came through for Liverpool, 1 away from home also yesterday. There are also big games tonight, by the way. Arsenal versus Monaco. Arsenal wins tonight by +2 goals. They go second, only behind Liverpool on 13 points. Because the teams from second to 7th.
I tell you something. Monaco 2 win tonight. They go second as well.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. Because Arsenal and Monaco followed each other each of them with 13 points each. So Arsenal is just on +2 goals difference. So if Arsenal can beat Monaco with a +2 goal difference tonight, they go second behind Liverpool. And don't forget that Arsenal had lost in the Champions League this season against Inter Milan. They've also drawn against Atalanta this season. So I mean, it's just different. And then you look at the likes of Real Madrid and Manchester City are still trying to sneak into it, are trying to hold on to the playoffs.
The playoffs,
actually.
Not the top 8.
But of course, we've seen teams like PSV and all of those. Girona, all of those are out already. It's been a miserable campaign for Girona, no doubt about that. And even in the Spanish La Liga also, they're struggling. But hey, it is football. And like they would always say, it is 11 against 11. Worst case scenario, 10 against 11. Oh, say come back, reach 9 against 11. But it's always football. Actually.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Okwemi. Yes, of course, the stubborn guy on the show as well.
You will be looking for trouble.
In person of Akinta.
You'll be looking for trouble.
Funny enough, Akinta came with his transistor radio today.
I have no idea what you mean by transistor radio.
The shaky I showed you yesterday, when he bring his laptop today.
I told you yesterday that this is a NASA's laptop. I told you this laptop was used by NASA.
It's a NASA.
So I don't know where you are seeing transistor, but I told you this is a NASA.
That laptop is a dumbbell.
A NASA model. laptop, and it's
Which
NASA? It's a beautiful evening. It's a
This
beautiful evening.
laptop is dumbbell 25 kg.
It's more than actually.
If you carry-
it is a cement weight laptop.
It is 50. Straight up 50. 25 each. The board is 25. Then the screen, the monitor is 25.
I mean,
I'm sure you would have noticed that when I was entering that all my biceps and everything was increasing.
yeah.
Due to the laptop.
Before we came on here, I caught Agnita texting a woman asking if she had eaten, a dinner. But
I have no
I
idea.
think I has happy home. That's why I can check on his better
I
half.
have no idea. Why?
all right, guys, not to worry. This is
We will worry.
all right, guys. Yes, the games in the UEFA Champions League yesterday night. We saw a lot of beautiful results. Liverpool made it 6 wins out of 6 by defeating Girona. Away from home with star goalkeeper Alisson returning back to the side. I think we were talking about that yesterday, and I think he proved the reason why
He was the man of the match.
Man of the match, exactly.
He
made 5
phenomenal
saves
for Liverpool.
5 saves.
It was exceptional.
All right, guys. Yes, the other games as well. Bayer Leverkusen had to leave it very, very late to defeat Inter Milan. A goal was
That
scored
is
in
the
the
17th game they've won from 90 minutes plus under Xavi Alonso. 17th game that they've won after 90 minutes.
All right.
Since last season.
Yeah, Brest as well had to also win that game up against PSV and Eindhoven. It ended 1 goal to nil.
They're close to automatic qualification. This is their first Champions League. And they've had 4 wins already.
Everyone thought they were going to be left exposed this season, but that has not happened. By the way, yes, Club Brugge as well yesterday defeated the Sport games out of 5. Quite so
the one that left, it's not like he's winning at Man U now. He's collecting back to back.
But there will be games as well later today. But before we talk about all of that, the confirmation, of course, you hosted by Saudi Arabia. But then they are also joint hosts for that one. The likes of Spain, Portugal, Morocco, Paraguay as well. Is it Paraguay? 34 World Cup. But guys, yes, we are due for our first break. Let's go on a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll dive into the conversations for today. I will see where we go from there. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
Christmas in Nigeria comes with words. It is endless. But what matters is that you get to celebrate it with your loved ones. And with us at Mainland 98.3 FM. I am Jᴏɪᴛ Talks, and here is wishing you Merry Jolly Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hey there! Yes, you! You just won 5,000 Naira cash! And you, sitting by the side, there's 1 month Showmax subscription to watch the Premier League waiting for you! You behind! Of course! You're not left out! How does 1,000 Naira airtime and 2,000 Naira Uber discount sound? All this could come true when you buy the No Unwrap and Win pack, open it, look for a cube with a 6-digit code on its wrapper, text the code to 8011 and follow the prompts to stand a chance to win any of these instant prizes. Promo valid from July till December. Terms and conditions apply. Get extra value on the No Unwrap and Win pack. No, eat for good.
àti pé fún ìdíkòwò mẹ́fà tí mo ti ní mo ní àǹfààní ẹyọ kan sí i.
ewu lẹ gbé ṣírò lè báyìí.
mo ń ṣe òǹkà iye tí mo lè ní nínú ìdíkòwò bílíọ̀nù márùn-ún ni nítorí ABN Holdings ìtẹ́pẹpẹ ìdíkòwò fún àwọn tó jẹ́ onípín ìdíkòwò wọn lọ́wọ́. èyí já sí pé àwọn tó ti ní ìpín wọn lọ́wọ́ báyìí ní àǹfààní láti ní ìpín kan sí i lórí ìpín mẹ́fà tí wọ́n ti ní ìpín ọjọ́ ọ̀la pẹ̀lú ABN Holdings. ìpín ìdókòwò yìí ìdókòwò bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ọjọ́ 4 oṣù kọkànlá di ọjọ́ 12 oṣù kejìlá ọdún 2024. kàn sáwọn olùṣòwò ìpín ìdíkòwò rẹ tàbí ẹ̀ka ilé ìfowópamọ́ First Bank. bákan náà ni o lè ra ìpín rẹ lórí First Mobile app rẹ. ABN Holdings ní ìpín nínú ọjọ́ ọ̀la.
Hello everyone, My name is Jᴏɪᴏ Oᴘᴇɪ from Mainland 98.3 FM. Christmas is a beautiful reminder of love, hope, and togetherness. It is a season for us to celebrate our little joys, celebrate the wins, and cherish the moments that matters to us, and more importantly also share kindness with those around us. As we celebrate the festivities, may our hearts be filled with peace, may our homes be filled with laughter, and our days with boundless blessings. From all of us at Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos, here is wishing you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Every 6 shares I hold, I get one more.
What are you doing?
I am counting the numbers I get from over 5 billion shares. FBN Holdings is giving existing shareholders the chance to buy more shares at 25 naira each. This means that you can get one new one for every 6 you own. Don't miss out. Own a share of tomorrow with FBN Holdings rights issue. The offer opens from the 4th November to 12th December 2024. Visit your stockbroker or any First Bank branch to get started. You can also access the offer directly on your First mobile banking app. FBN Holdings. Own your share of tomorrow.
Hey there! Yes, you! You just won 5,000 naira cash! And you, sitting by the side, there's 1 month Showmax subscription to watch the Premier League waiting for you! You behind! Of course! You're not left out! How does 1,000 naira airtime and 2,000 naira Uber discount sound? All this could come true when you buy the No Unwrap and Win pack. Open it, look for a cube with a 6-digit code on its wrapper, text the code to 8011 and follow the prompts to stand a chance to win any of these instant prizes. Promo valid from July till December. Terms and conditions apply. Get extra value on the No Unwrap and Win pack. No, eat for good.
àti pé fún ìdíkòwò mẹ́fà tí mo ti ní mo ní àǹfààní ẹyọ kan sí i.
Ewu lẹ gbé ṣírò lè báyìí.
mo ń ṣe òǹkàyé tí mo lè ní nínú ìdíkòwò bílíọ̀nù márùn-ún ni nítorí ABN Holdings ìtẹ́pẹpẹ ìdíkòwò fún àwọn tó jẹ́ onípín ìdíkòwò wọn lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. èyí dá sí pé àwọn tó ti ní ìpín wọn lọ́wọ́ báyìí ní àǹfààní láti ní ìpín kan sí i lórí ìpín mẹ́fà tí wọ́n ti ní. ní ìpín ọjọ́ ọ̀la pẹ̀lú ABN Holdings ìpín ìdókòwò yìí ìdókòwò bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ọjọ́ 4 oṣù kọkànlá di ọjọ́ 12 oṣù kejìlá ọdún 2024. kàn sáwọn olùṣòwò ìpín ìdíkòwò rẹ tàbí ẹ̀ka ilé ìfowópamọ́ First Bank. bákan náà ni o lè ra ìpín rẹ lórí First mobile app rẹ. ABN Holdings ní ìpín nínú ọjọ́ ọ̀la.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
Mainland 98.3 FM, your #1 radio. Reaching stars. The sound of Lagos.
Hello, my name is Godwin Enoch and I'm a broadcast journalist. Yes, my friend will tell me that I am a sport administrator by accident. Listen every day of the weekday to Sports Cruise on Mainland FM. God bless you.
Whiskey, Nigerian entertainment industry. Gbogbo wa ló ń kí ẹ o. Mo tún dé bí ṣe dé.
See the blood from my eye and the pain from my mind, bully shalaye. Yeah, I dey choco, I dey nice, someone me I don't dey maintain. Life of a trouble mind, life of a trouble mind. Right now me just want vibes and sing, but my trouble mind won't sing. Yeah. Every day, every night, that way ever blazing. Make you go to one then I got my shaking. Me no need love, you're the paper chasing. If you know they talking money, ain't no communicating. Yeah, real love, yeah, that's what we're used to. Diamonds on my wrist, on my left. Tell me where the man no go fit do. Yeah, one shot for mama, yeah, I miss you. I go ball on my days. I hate him since I face. Place for the pain. Every day steady cruising. Big bang, we unruly. Say my life like
All right, yeah, welcome back to the show. This is still Sport Cruise from Milan.
Album of the year, my friend.
The Sound of Lagos.
Album of the year. Straight up, Mariah. Album of the
year. To
you.
Okoyemi, to you.
To everybody that understands good music.
To you, Okoyemi.
Big shout out to the guys that dropped some good joint this year.
Yeah, actually.
You know, I think what's this guy? Young John gave a good job.
Davido.
I think Caveman. I think the year I turned 17 as well from Iṛsᴜ.
Yeah.
I think those were really good albums this year.
Yeah.
You know, but Mariah was just the perfect definition of
Fireboy also dropped it.
Adedamola was also
album.
a fire joint this
Yeah.
year. Yeah, some really good ones there. But hey, Mariah.
All right, guys, let's move away from that very quickly and now take a look at the games that were decided UEFA Champions League yesterday. Dynamo Zagreb, up against Celtic, ended in a goalless draw yesterday. Girona, just like we mentioned, were beaten at home by Liverpool. Atlanta eventually lost to Real Madrid. By the way, Kylian Mbappé had to be taken out of that game due to injury, so it is still left to be seen if that injury is going to be a long-term injury. Yes, for Bayer Leverkusen as well, they had to leave it late to defeat Inter Milan yesterday, scoring in the 90th minute. Brest as well defeated PSV Eindhoven 1-0. Club Brugge also got the better of Sporting CP 2-1. RB Leipzig as well as Aston Villa. It ended in a 3-2 win for Aston Villa. Where the former English midfielder now Rose Barkley got the winner for that one.
John Duran as well. Someone that relegated with Luton last season 6 months ago.
I think we don't need to. I think we can't sweep that under the carpet. So it's a beautiful goal outside the box. It's in 30,
there was a bit of some deflection.
It seems to be making a case of him benching Oli Watkins.
No, it's
a big shout.
There's nothing big about it.
It's a big shout.
2021. Who is in
2021?
He is.
You said it's still 2021.
2020.
It's still 2021.
Okay.
I think the problem with him is he's always just quick to respond. He does not
even want to hear anything from you.
Watkins is a brilliant striker. On his day, he is unplayable. Like you just have that thing in him that he would always disturb the defense. He would always run at you.
You run off your shoulder as the centre back.
He has pace and he can shoot as well. And he's good on air. So you can tell that there's a reason why he is that pinpoint man. You can make a case for Duran, but at this stage, you just need him to have to learn more with the senior player, and that is Watkins. Learn more from him, and as well when he comes in, makes the impact. And we have seen him. He did that during the weekend, and he's doing so again today. Yesterday in the Champions League where they needed that win desperately. So it is, and currently just to notify our listeners, they are currently leading Fenerbahce at the moment, 2-1. They are in the 90s. I believe so that they should be done with the game. That's Bilbao are currently leading Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce currently on red card, 2-0. They are currently in the 94th minute. So it is not a good day for Jose Mourinho and the Turkish Giants today in the Europa League.
It's 8 minutes in the UEFA Europa League.
Yeah, perhaps maybe you need to refresh.
All right, guys, other game. I'll go off your mic. Other games that in the UEFA Champions League, RB Salzburg lost at home to PSG 3-0, and Shakhtar Donetsk, after scoring a goal in the 3rd or 5th minute yesterday.
They go call police.
Give one.
They can't lose case.
No person way call police first. They win case. And that, by the way, was without Harry Kane. 2 goals from Olise yesterday.
The second goal reminded me of a certain Lionel Messi.
What?
He walked. He literally walked to 5-6 players, including his own teammates.
And Musiala's goal, oh my goodness.
Yes, he does.
He sat the defender and the goalkeeper and just told them that goody.
I give you.
I don't know what Verso company is cooking in Bayern Munich.
Professor Company.
If he's able to get the engine rolling effectively, it's going to remind me of the Flick's Bayern and as well as JᴏɪＲ Oᴘᴇyᴜ Bayern. Because at the point in time yesterday, watching Olise yesterday, was just giving me that knack of like, I have no idea why Guardiola could not just go for Olise rather than
Savinho.
I think
Olise is an adorable.
He's a magician.
I think
that is one of the reasons. That is the problem that Crystal Palace are currently facing because now they have to rely solely on Eze, and they are not having that person that could actually.
That's what I'm going to.
The funny thing is, sorry to call you short. The funny thing is that when Olise was at Crystal Palace, it wasn't this good.
That's where he has always been.
Yes, he has always been. But he has not always been in limelight like this.
This is the thing, line, guys. Because it's Crystal Palace. A lot of people didn't exactly put an eye on Olise.
Yeah.
In fact, Eberechi was more in the market
that's true.
Olise.
That's true.
See, I saw some games last season against Crystal Palace, Olise screamer. Against Chelsea, crazy goal.
I think he scored against
Manchester City. He had those movements, those coiler, those screamers. But because he plays at Crystal Palace, a lot of people didn't exactly look at them. And then you also look at the fact that Crystal Palace amazing run last season came in their last 12 games where they had about 9 wins and I think 2 losses or thereabouts. So it was just a matter of this company was going to Bayern and then Olise
it was not announced.
That's what I'm saying.
Fabrizio did not know anything. The
only thing was just unveiling.
We saw was
he traveled.
No, the only thing we saw was they have confirmed.
Yeah, we go. Just confirm.
And they waited for him to play to get done with the
Olympics.
No, with the Olympics. He did not go
for France. Yes,
he went to the Olympics instead. Him and Mateta, and he has been a great addition. And that is what Bayern lacked last season and
that final cutting edge. Because Sane was done.
Because the injury has disrupted Sane's development, and Coman he would always give you that moment, but because of they did not have
they're both inconsistent.
And now, without having Hurricane in the team yesterday, we saw what Olise could do, and Musiala is such a gem. And man, I just
they're giving him a new deal,
and
it will make him the biggest. In fact, what he's getting is almost double of the record of what had ever been paid to any player in the German Bundesliga. The biggest ever deal, double of the biggest ever deal, because you look at Musiala and you're asking, how good can he get? How better can he get? The ease at which he does his stuff, the fact that he's still young, he's still growing, he's still learning, and he's lucky enough to have a manager that is very attacking minded. He said company just wanted to pump in the goals, play with your ease, enjoy yourself. And so when you are Musiala and then you look at your left and you are seeing someone like Hurricane, you look up front, you are seeing someone like Olise, it gives you that confidence that even if I'm not having a good game, the other players around me that can come up. The ease at which he scored that goal yesterday, Olise, if the man of the match was between Musiala and Olise, and we knew that it was going to be Olise. The goal he scored, his contribution, his assist, his overall play, bro. He was way past his time at Crystal Palace. And I love the fact that he went to a league where he's not going to be under so much pressure. If you had moved from Crystal Palace to maybe Manchester United or Manchester City or Arsenal or Chelsea, there's going to be that unnecessary pressure on him because first off, he's not English, right? It's French. So it gives him that, he's Olise. A lot of people didn't even know that Olise is not English.
Very true.
A lot of people didn't know until he was dropped from the national team because he had to go to the Olympics. Thierry Henry requested that he wants him at the Olympics. And he almost won the gold medal, losing the final. So I think for me, it's basically about he's developing right now. The growth is still so unpredictable. Bro, how old is Musiala, for instance? How old is Olise?
Early 20.
Olise is also in his early 20s. Olise is about 22.
Yeah,
he didn't go to the Olympics as an overage player. No, he did. He went to the Olympics like as an eligible player. So he's still within. And then you look at Vincent Kompany. He has age. He has players that are experienced the likes of Thomas Müller, for instance. There's Harry Kane. These guys would help these younger players to grow into the team. So by the time those older players are going out, these ones have established themselves in the side. You should be worried for Bayern. And I kept saying it. Forget how they started the Champions League. It was a season that unstable, it kind of unstable. A lot of teams were used to the regular. Oh, I win, the group stage.
Exactly.
You are looking for a team problem, but this time around, you're playing against a big team today. Tomorrow you are playing a team that the referee, the commentator can barely even pronounce the names of those players. So I think when we get into the knockout stage, where we'll go back to the status quo of home and away against the same team, I think it's going to bring some sanity and balance into it, and I'm hoping that the big teams don't fall off. Manchester City are also at the risk of not qualifying. They would have to go play the playoffs, including Real Madrid as well. Even this Bayern that we're talking about. Well, so I think for me, they just have to find a balance. But Bayern is a big deal for the Champions League this season.
All right, that was the thought of Okwemi saying Bayern Munich, of course, will be a very, very big deal to watch out for in the 2024-2025 UEFA Champions League season. But then, before we take a look at and then preview the games that we're going down later to the Okwemi, let's just quickly talk about the 2034 Men's World Cup that earlier on today FIFA confirmed will be hosted in Saudi Arabia. The likes of Spain, Portugal and Morocco would also be joint hosts for the 2030 tournament. And 3 matches in the 2030 tournament as well will also be held in Argentina, Paraguay and Uruguay to mark 100 years of the competition. And the hosts for both World Cups were confirmed earlier on today at the extraordinary FIFA Congress meeting following a vote. And that makes it 5 continents. 5 continents that will be hosting the 2034 World Cup. There are 7 countries, 7 different countries, 5 continents hosting the 2034 World Cup. I mean, even before we came on air, we were talking about our concerns for the next World Cup. The 2026 World Cup as well will also be hosted by 3 different nations. Before the 2022 World Cup as well, that was hosted by Qatar, a lot of persons as well also made mention of the fact that, Qatar, at that nation, they were under serious criticism as well due to human rights issues as well. And this is Saudi Arabia as well that have also, in times past has also been criticized due to the human rights, issues and whatnot. But I'm not even talking about the human rights, Okwemi. What exactly, or what can you really justify the cost that FIFA will be incurring hosting the World Cup in not just 7 countries, but 5 continents, Okwemi?
First off, FIFA is not spending a dime. There's so much money in football right now that only countries that don't have an idea of how much of a bottomless pit of opportunities that football has that will suffer. Nigeria is part of those countries. We don't understand that sport is business. We still treat football or sport generally as a family business, as a tool to compensate your political loyalists. Nobody cares about. Do you know what it means to prosecute a typical match day for a club? There are people that will sell merchandise. There are people that would sell hawk at the stadiums. I'm talking about Nigeria, and I'm not talking about the standard way that we have it in Europe now. So we're not serious yet. We're not ready for football administration. That's why almost a year we don't have a manager, and we're still managing the national team. Technical director is still acting in that capacity. We're very unserious set of people. Let's talk about countries that are serious. See, why UEFA and CAF and FIFA rather would continue to bring up these kind of competitions is that there's so much money in football right now. There are a lot of sponsors that want to pump in their money in football. So UEFA need to continue to create tournaments, to create competitions, so that they can give those sponsors the visibility that they are looking for in terms of partnership and adverts. So FIFA is not paying a dime. Now, let's go back to the conversation itself. If you look at the Olympics, it's a ring. And it's very significant.
3 rings.
It's talking about unity.
It's
talking about the synergy amongst all of the continents. Do you understand? And that is what FIFA is trying to spread out as a message. For every single World Cup, it has a significant story around it. Let's go back to 2010 World Cup. In fact, let's go back to Korea, Japan 2002. We knew there was a story around it, right? Let's go to Germany 2006 that Italy won. You knew there was a story around it, right? Let's go back to South Africa 2010. That was the first World Cup that was hosted by Africa. And FIFA came out to say that was the World Cup with the most revenues ever. Even countries that lost in the playoffs, countries like Sweden, they still got money for losing from the playoffs because there were more than 10 million tourists that came into the South African region from South Africa to Kenya, all of those countries within that axis actually. Yeah. So it was a World Cup beyond what happens on the 90 minutes on the pitch of play. It was a World Cup that sold Africa to the world. The entire Vuvuzela, drive, the fact that it was an African that scored the opening goal of that World Cup, Shabalala, it was just a different kind of feeling. So continue to build that narrative.
Noise in the studio, exactly, as well.
Exactly. Now from 2010 to 2014, which was hosted in Brazil. It was a year where Brazil also hosted the Olympics. It was the year they also pre-hosted the Confederations Cup. So
as well,
it was, and that period, Brazil were going through one of their toughest political movements, and they had a lot of economic that they were down to whether they were going to host that World Cup. They hosted that World Cup, and it was a spectacle. Now, take it back to 2018 in Russia. Everybody knows that Russia has got a lot of issues, especially at that period they were suspended from the G10, and those were political issues right now. The whole perception about Vladimir Putin, feeling that he's more like a semi-colonized country and all of that. But Russia gave us a spectacle. So let's come to Qatar 2022. It's difficult, but it's something that is difficult to separate. Separate football from politics. Yeah. Football administration alone is politics.
Very true.
That is why they contest elections.
You get voted in.
Exactly. Thank you. That's why they contest elections to get into these bodies. That's why they contest elections to be FIFA president. That's why they contest elections to be. It is politics on its own. However, 2022 World Cup in Qatar was having a lot of feel to it. There was so much religious bias around it. Yeah. One of the biggest alcohol brand that supports FIFA. Qatar said, no, you're not going to do this here.
Very true.
The Qatari government told FIFA that whatever that company had given you as sponsorship, take that country out, we'll double that sponsorship. But FIFA said, no, it's not going to happen like that. Create villages where people can take alcohol. Yeah. Create those hotspots
just like the Olympic village.
Exactly. Create those villages so that people know that okay, you cannot take alcohol at these cities, but you have to go to this particular center, and that was what happened. Boy, oh boy, Qatar 2022
was a spectacle to behold.
I felt it because I would have been at the World Cup if Nigeria had qualified. And a lot of people let us qualify.
Lateral trade, you mean?
Leave your uncle, Amaju, putting his hand on the head and see you are done. So it was an historical World Cup. First off, it was a World Cup that the entire stadium was built from scratch. I followed the build up to the Qatar 2002 World Cup 2022. The bidding process was crazy. England knew that they stood no chance in that bidding. You needed to,
and the Qatar's giving the Qatar the hosting rights was one of the reasons that tore FIFA apart, especially the then president Sepp Blatter. It was
had to be outside,
and not just Sepp Blatter as well. As well as Michel Platini, because it was revealed that Michel Platini allegedly, and guess what?
Corruption.
When the African representatives were trying to get so as to vote for
the next president and UEFA president.
To get the voting,
I think it was
to get the voting right. The African members that were there, according to the Netflix video that was released for about the corruption that was surrounding the hosting rights and everything. The African representatives that were there, they collected money for personal use.
That's Amos Adam.
Amos Adam and the likes.
And they were suspended, banned for life.
Jack Warner as well of the Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean. It was as well affected. But guess what? European countries, what did they do when they wanted to get, rather than get the personal money, Qatar should instead invest money, and that's one of the reasons why Qatari invested heavily in PSG and bought a club in France. See, it is, and the corruption is endemic.
See,
and we cannot just, and we saw the drama when England could not get the hosting rights for the 2020
they went
World Cup.
And
they
when the USA could not get the hosting right for the Russia 2018
as
World Cup,
well.
it was as if it was twins, and since they felt like they could not get what they wanted,
they
saw how
the beans.
they went after the Qatar. See, even it was so bad that the BBC could not actually hear the opening ceremony of the 2022 World Cup Qatar. And guess what? Qatar and the FIFA as well went at them. The rainbow armband, they ensured that if they said if you are going to wear the rainbow armband to play, you are going to get a yellow card. And if you still put it on, you are going to be sent off. What happened? The English national team, they chickened out, they could not do that. So we've seen politics and power.
That was for the first game of the tournament. Yeah, I remember.
And we saw what happened with the German side where they are you could as well tell that in as much as FIFA always demand that we should not always mix politics and football, that the government should not have intervention. You can never separate politics and football because it's the same humans that are in politics and the same humans that as well in football.
Even the administration of football itself is political. It's not something that runs in isolation. Every human existence is politics. All of us on this table, there's politics in between the three of us having this conversation. So it's normal. But I think the joy of bringing in this conversation is unity.
That's just the thing, because one of the major reasons why people, even though people feel like maybe there might be one or two shady dealings in terms of getting Qatar the hosting right, they felt like this is a continent this is a region in the dark that has never hosted something like this, and this was that's
the biggest that's the biggest thing ever. The World Cup is the biggest
no Arab or the Middle Eastern country has ever hosted a World Cup, a Mundial, and we saw spectacle. We saw Morgan Freeman. It was a spectacle. And guess what? The major reason why Saudi Arabia has been spending billions of dollars in trying to ensure that they bring more they bring faces and bring players.
There's been events.
I heard
competition.
I think they've prepared. They knew what was coming.
They are currently building a smart city that will be ready prior to the World Cup.
Automated.
After the World Cup.
Out of the purported 15 nations that are going to be hosting the World Cup, only 3 have been built, and then the building will start from next year.
See, there was a stadium. There was a stadium that was used in Qatar. Stadium 931.
Yeah,
that was built to container.
I think 947.
94. It was
built to container.
That's the country code of Qatar.
And it can be used.
It's mobile.
It's mobile. And it was reported that it will also be used for the next World Cup. That it can be used. That can take it and reassemble.
I think about four stadiums were built for the purpose of the FIFA World Cup, and then they were brought down again.
Because Qatar don't have so much land mass, so they can't retain those facilities. So they made those stadiums reusable. That means if they have any competition, they can set it up.
Very true.
The container, the 944 something. Let me check for Qatar country code. The container is actually the country code of Qatar. Those are the number of containers that they used to build that stadium. It's a special project. Funny enough, it wasn't even built by Qatar. It was built
Stadium
by 974. That's the country code of Qatar. So they used 974 containers to build that stadium. It was built with containers, nothing else. And it's actually a FIFA project that was donated to Qatar. It was FIFA that owns that project. So after the World Cup, they will move it to the next place FIFA want to use it. That is how much people around the world are evolving with sport. Saudi Arabia have been doing everything they can see, whether you like it or not. For every World Cup, like I took us down from 2002 World Cup. Every single World Cup would have its issues around it. There were issues when it came to Africa, that the people would not embrace the competition. That once the all African countries are out, the turnout to be low, and that was a mess. The stadium was full capacity.
We would know how to watch the normal superstars.
The FMB Stadium hosted the final. That's the first National Bank Stadium. That's where the Super Eagles also won 2013. That's Orlando Pirates Stadium. That was a game changer. And guess what? All of the stadium used at that World Cup is still being used by South African football clubs right now. Orlando Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs.
Super Sports United.
So I think Saudi Arabia getting the
2030.
You said Saudi Arabia. 2034.
It's 2034.
Yeah.
It is Spain, Morocco, Portugal. That's the centenary now.
Yeah, that's centenary, exactly.
I'm talking about the 2034.
Okay.
Now, That's 10 years from now.
From now.
It gives you every opportunity in the world to make your mistakes and demolish what you want to demolish and rebuild whatever you want to rebuild and reach out. Because first off, Saudi Arabia have been making sure that they pull the attention of the world to whatever project they're working on.
Exactly.
There was, I think it was I'm trying to remember the female rapper. I think it was Nicki Minaj that was supposed to perform in Saudi Arabia last year sometime. I don't know what happened to that event. And we've had a lot of unconventional events. You know what I'm talking about. When the boxing bouts being held in Saudi Arabia, the people that announce the rounds, they come in half cladded. They come into it. Fine. There's still restrictions. Women cannot do this, maybe driving issues, but Saudi Arabia they allow their women national team to participate in outdoor competition. So those things are changing. They understand the limitations they have, and they know that based on what happened in Qatar, the world would come at them that you have human rights violation stories, you have restrictions, you have I'm coming at it, you have this against the women, you have this against the young people, there's case of violence against free speech. All of those will be sorted out. 10 years is a long time. What Saudi Arabia needs to do is to make sure that they clean the house, that from now till the start of that World Cup, there are no major issues that will bring into disrespect their possibilities of hosting that World Cup. And I can tell you for a fact that I see that gay parade that they wanted to impose in Qatar. It's going to get strict because I'm the host. I like what the French Federation said at the Qatar World Cup. They said, if you are coming to Paris, if you are hosting you in Paris, you would have to respect our laws. That was exactly what they said. If these people said, don't do gay parade, don't do LGBTQ in our land, don't do it. Do whatever you want to do. If your country get knocked out, pack your things and get out.
I'm going to do whatever I want to do in your country.
Respect your host. If they say no gay parade, keep your gay parade. And I tell you for a fact that in Saudi Arabia, forget whatever anybody wants to say. You see that one? That LGBTQ, I'm sure they will have added one more thing again by 2034.
It is LGBTQ plus.
I'm sure they will have maybe LGBTQWX, whatever it was. That will not hold a space inside Arabia. But I'm excited. 2030 World Cup is even more exciting for me because it's a significant year.
It's the Mediterranean World
Cup. There's going to be Spain. You understand the proximity of Spain to Morocco. A lot of people are asking, why not Cameroon, the first African country to get to the quarterfinal? Why not this? And I said, Morocco is also the first African country to get to the semi-final of the World Cup. And then the proximity to Spain, there's also Portugal in between.
They're very close.
So if you look at the growth, the next line of World Cups right now, there's no single host.
Spain.
In fact, co-hosting gives you a better chance of winning the co-host. Because if you look at the next World Cup right now, there's Mexico, there's Canada, there's the United States. After then, there's Spain, there's Portugal, there's Morocco, there's Uruguay, there's Paraguay, and of course, there's
matches.
In between that period.
But the major hosts for the 2030 World Cup are just the Mediterranean, the
Morocco, Spain,
and when you look at Morocco has been going for the World Cup host since 2010. They felt they could have.
South Africa.
Yes, exactly.
But
I think the Mandela conversation played.
South Africa leverage on Mandela's popularity and Mandela's influence for them to get it. See, Morocco, they are hosting the next AFCON. They hosted the last. They hosted
the last CAF women's competition.
They have once hosted the Club World Cup as well, and that tells you about it. And guess what? Morocco is one of the few countries in Africa that rakes in millions of dollars in foreign direct investment, especially in the tourism. Morocco, especially Marrakesh has always been like home of
Marrakesh is the second biggest tourist city in Africa.
See, and
after Nairobi,
and that is what the Moroccans have been leveraging. And guess what? Look at the development of their both the female team and the male team. We saw what the male team did in the World Cup. We saw what the female team knocked out Nigeria in the last WAFCON I think at the semi-finals as well. So you could as well see that Morocco have been on a good trajectory, and that's what I tell you about investment. When you have good and solid investment,
they have facilities.
In your football, it's not just having facilities.
Even when Cameroon were not ready for AFCON, Morocco stood in less than 4 months, and they gave us a spectacle.
The next AFCON that's going to be held. Every nation are going to have their individual training where they will be able to train without having to share training ground, and that tells you about a country that is serious.
We have to
in an expanded format.
I'll be surprised if Morocco decides to host the World Cup as a whole,
as a sole host.
See, how they're able to pull off the 2030 would be the major thing. And I think we had that conversation here. Your top 3 countries that host the World Cup. A lot of people were talking about Morocco. If you see what Morocco had done in the last 10 years in terms of development, male football, female football, age grade competition, they brought in clubs.
2004, I have been seeing Morocco hosting the 2022 World Cup. See, it just shows you.
Morocco have had at least one single competition every year
that they've hosted.
Whether it's under 17, whether it's under 20, whether it's a regional competition. And look at how they've developed. Even their female club football, their male club football, the national team. So it's basically about understanding that, hey, we may not be so good with other sports, but you see this football
now we get them.
We
get them. All right, guys, let's see all of that very, very quickly. Let's just hope that Nigeria will be able to learn from countries like Morocco, from countries like the United States of America in terms of marketing as well as bidding of instruction and investment as well. But then let's also quickly preview the games that will be going down UEFA Champions League later today. Atletico Madrid up against Slovan Bratislava. The game already started and I'm trying much as possible to get the starting goal for Atletico Madrid. Yes, it's not replacing Bonjano Black. We have Marcos Llorente, Jose Maria Jimenez, Clement Lenglet, as well as Javi Galtan. Yes, of course, those 4 make the defense. And in the midfield, we have Giuliano Simeone, the son of the manager. We also have Rodrigo de Paul, Messi's bodyguard himself. We also have Pablo Barrios, Samuel Lino, and in attack we have Antoine Griezmann as well as Julian Alvarez. And yes, for Slovan Bratislava, yes, in goal we have Dominic Thakash, Kenan Badjiric, Guram Kashia. We also have Danlio as well, and it's going to be a 3-man at the back setup. And in midfield we have Juraj Medvedev, Juraj Kuka, Kyriakos, Shavidis, Seva Blackman in midfield, and in attack we have Robert Mark, David Strategic as well as Tigran. And yes, other games as well. Lille up against Storm Graz as well as also kicked off, and you expect Lille to be winning this one rather comfortably. And yes, other games as well that will kick off by 9 p.m. AC Milan up against FK Krevna Zvezda, also known as Red Star Belgrade. Arsenal up against Monaco. We'll be talking about Arsenal in a bit. Benfica versus Bologna. Borussia Dortmund up against Barcelona. Another big game to look forward to tonight. Feyenoord as well are also in action, and they're going to be against Sparta Prague. VfB Stuttgart up against Young Boys, and the last game for today has to be Juventus up against Manchester City. But I'm going to come
draw
to
specialist.
See, I can tell you, in the last 8 games, Pep Guardiola has only won just once in the last 8 games. Very, very, very.
And he has lost 6. He don't make it look like he's had 5 draws. He
has lost 6. 1 win,
1 draw,
and 1 win. 1 win, 1 draw, and then 6 losses. Juventus as well under Thiago Motta. Everyone thought that him coming in from Bologna was going to be a change.
It's a different ball. The expectations of coaching. That's sorry to take it from me. That's one of the things I've always told Manchester United fans when it comes to Ruben Amorim. See, you've got to manage your expectations, especially on the manager. Sporting is a big club. Manchester United is an institution. They are two different things.
Bigger club.
Manchester United cannot even be compared in a bigger category to Sporting. Manchester United is an institution. Is one of the most successful clubs in the entire human race. It's not just in England alone. So the responsibility of, in fact, your name being mentioned, a manager that was in England to sign for West Ham a season before the last. Got the opportunity to coach arguably the biggest club in England. Do you understand? It's a different ball game. It's a bigger responsibility. Look at what Sporting is also going through. Since he left, they've had only one win, which is, I think that's 6-0 loss, 6-0 victory. Since then, they've lost to Arsenal. They've been losing back to back. It means that the responsibility of coaching a bigger team is even heavier on the manager. Every time was flying with Ajax, he came over to Manchester United, and it was a lot of problem. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And Slot was flying again with his club. He came over to England, and it looks like he's been lucky enough because he inherited a team that is already stable from Jurgen Klopp. So I think it's a difficult thing for Juventus and I kind of felt he should have stayed
maybe one more season. Just
the
like
way Xabi Alonso stayed at Leverkusen.
Yes.
I figured out that the lure of playing or managing the biggest team
in Italy,
in the league in Italy, is too strong for him to turn down, and he's feeling the heat so badly. Juventus have been eating okra soup.
I don't think they are the same Juventus that everyone is accustomed to. I mean, when you hear Juventus, you look like the names of Chiellini.
They've had injuries too.
They've
been unfortunate with injuries. A couple of the key players. I think Federico Chiesa shouldn't have left as well. It's just a whole lot of issues. And against Manchester City tonight, it could go either way because Manchester City are also struggling. They play a very big game this weekend in the Premier League.
Very, very
so
true.
I mean, you're coming from a draw in a team that was always going to give you problem at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace. A team you probably should have won on a normal day. Then you're coming against Juventus. If Man City lose tonight, it's going to be tough for them going into the weekend fixture.
Well, let's just hope for the best for Manchester City. Yes, other games as well to look forward to. Borussia Dortmund are up against Barcelona. I can tell you, it's a potential banana skin for Barcelona tonight. I mean, you take a look at the head-to-head record between Barcelona as well as Borussia Dortmund. The last time they were in action was in the UEFA Champions League. I think back in 2019 in the group stage when Barcelona defeated Borussia Dortmund 3-1. Do you really believe that Barcelona is going to be winning this game, McIntyre?
Well, it's you can't tell about what's the Dortmund that will turn up. Dortmund are just sometimes they blow hot, sometimes they blow cold. You really can't tell.
The emergence of Gittens as well.
They'll play. See, the issue is not about Dortmund playing, and I think the major problem with Barcelona has always been lapse of concentration. They've always been losing concentration in the last few minutes to the end of the game. They've conceded goals very late on in the last few games that they played. So you can tell that if Dortmund get that chance, they smell blood, they'll go for it. And if Barcelona decides to leave gaps in between, they'll get punished. Because when you look at the standings currently, they both have 12 points.
It's just like Arsenal and Monaco.
Exactly.
Barcelona currently sitting 6th on the log, Dortmund sitting 7th on the log. Barcelona need this win to ensure that they qualify automatically.
If they win, they go 16 points.
Yeah. So and Dortmund needs the win as well. So both of them have lost just one game apiece. So that tells you of the fact.
It's crazy how this table can change so fast.
Because
all of a sudden.
Because the point.
There's 18. There's 13. Take it back a bit. Yeah. There's 18. There's 13.
Let's just start
there's
from
13. There's 13. There's 13. There's 12.
From the second position to the 20. To the 24th.
No, it depends. Some of those teams have not played yet. Some of them have played already.
No, I'm just talking about the points itself. The point itself is just barely. Just 5 points
difference.
Difference between the second.
Liverpool are just in the world of 6 out of 6.
Just 3 points separating the second as well as the 15th. The 15th position. Occupying the 15th is Club Brugge, and second on the league is Bayer Leverkusen. So even if I mean this club
could be changes.
There could be changes.
Bayer Leverkusen would certainly lose that. Slots where they are that 13 points they have because there are quite a lot of teams under them.
Exactly.
Arsenal or Monaco, any win for both of them takes them top. Borussia Dortmund and Bayern and Barcelona, any win for both of them takes them top.
Atalanta could as well go down as well.
Atalanta can also drop out of it. They're holding the last
because
slots
for
the 8. They are currently
because they're currently 9th at the moment.
They're 9th.
They're 9th at the moment.
Okay, that means they're starting the playoffs.
Yes,
because top 8 is automatic qualification.
9th at the moment with 11 points, and Manchester City that is 20th on the log
have 8 points.
They have 8 points, and if
Manchester they win, they go on 11 points.
They go on 11 points.
But Atlanta has got decent goal difference. They have a plus 11.
So you
plus 9.
You still have Atletico that can still surpass Atalanta. You have Lille that could still surpass Atalanta.
You have Arsenal that can still surpass Bayern.
Yeah, let's just talk about Arsenal very quickly. Arsenal up against Monaco. I mean, for Monaco, three wins out of 5. The last game they lost in the UEFA Champions League, I think that was
against Celtic.
Against Celtic, they lost in the UEFA Champions League.
Good game. I watched that game.
They also defeated Barcelona as well, if you also recall as well. I think
that's the first game.
That was the first game exactly. do you really believe that Arsenal, this is the game Arsenal should be winning, not just winning, but winning comfortably? Because over the course of the weekend, Arsenal struggled against Fulham.
It's tough. It's a Craven Cottage. They lost their last season. They play against Monaco this time around. Monaco don't have good record in England. It's really abysmal how they travel to England. Then they play against an Arsenal team that they know that they have to build their momentum. Arsenal also has a very tricky game at this weekend alongside the Manchester derby between Manchester. And I think the Manchester derby will be somewhere in the mind of those Man City players. So you come from Crystal Palace draw. If you lose tonight against Juventus, then you go to play your biggest rival. Somebody said that could be the first game in the history of football where both teams will lose. I don't know. I don't know how that's good. But for Arsenal, I think for Arsenal, Arteta understand what's at stake. Unfortunately, again, they've got a couple of their players that have not trained. Their senior players, Calafiori, Gabriel, and Gales, they've not trained. Against Fulham, you're wondering why you would have a Kieran on the bench that has been fit for the past 4 games, and then you decide to take him to Partey that is good enough in midfield and take him to a place where you have a natural. See, and I've always said it. Arteta would not bring success to Arsenal, especially if he continues to gamble this way. Guys, we're pressed for time.
All right, guys. Yes, you have to leave very, very soon as possible. Anyways, in the MPFL, there was also a game that was decided earlier on, I think by 4 p.m. Yᴏ Sunshine starts ending in a goalless draw in that one.
Right, joined their last 2 games. They had 3 games. Against Rangers, it was goalless. Against Zamalek, it was 2-2. They drew against today.
And still staying with Yᴏ. Brown Day has now joined Yᴏ after training with Rivers United.
Maybe Rivers didn't put the money where the mouth.
I mean,
I like this one. Another superstar. AFCON winner
again. Back into the MPFL. Anyways, guys, we have to. No, leave it. That's the
young dude.
You have to leave this very quickly. Up next is Ladies Lounge. Please stay with us. This is Stimula 98.3 FM Sound of Lagos. We'll be back tomorrow at 12:15 for Sport Jam as well as 6 p.m. for Sport Cruise. Big shout out as well as to go to Okwemi for joining the show. And for Akinta, you can go and get your own outside. Have a good, wonderful evening.
Might understand you by and by. Just move on.